this last few verses, the main idea we saw is, one thing is to learn about, relearn about what is appropriate behavior, what is your true nature, what is your position in the scheme of things. One thing is to learn, and the second thing is to act accordingly. So what Krishna is saying is, the wise person is the one which has aligned the two. So what brings about that alignment? It's not that easy. Why is it not easy? Because the indriyas and the old ways of thinking have their own force. And that force makes you behave in a different manner than what you have relearned. Right? So that means you have to live an alert life for a number of years to align the two. There should not be any dichotomy between what you know and how you behave and how you act. Right? So that means in order to gain that alignment, you first need to understand that it is true for everyone that there is a force of your past orientations, your past personality, behaviors, your past habitual way of doing things. There is a force that you cannot deny, except the fact that it is going to take you on a tangent. So that's why when it takes you on a tangent, it's not you label yourself as a failure. This is how it is. Right? But you have to be intelligent and you have to deal with it. Okay? So how do you deal with it? So this is why, in order to help you to deal with it, this whole thing of the past habits taking you away is broken down into many different steps. So that you know what exactly happens, and that gives you an insight into where can I intervene. There are different stages where you can intervene. Right? So the last two verses talk about that whole process. It says, you enter the world and you come across many different objects. Okay? Now, some objects attract you. There is no problem. Right? Because it's not that you are totally same with reference to all objects. Okay? They attract you. Then what happens is that attraction leads for you to what? Dhyayato vishayan pumsa. You keep dwelling upon things that attract you. Okay? Now, there is actually, you must understand that that is also natural. When you dwell on that is something that is going to happen. Right? Something catches your attention, you like it, and you are going to think about it. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu upajayate. Then, because of the dwelling, what will happen? Obsession. A little bit of craving will take place. Right? Because that sangha, we try not to translate as attachment, but what it is that it kind of captures you. Captures you. Okay? Sangat sanjayate kama. Then it becomes like, oh my God, it captures me, then what I want it. Kama. I can't be away without it. And even that kama, it actually is not bad. Because you need, to achieve anything in this world, you need that drive. So here, the whole thing is not in form of an advice, it's just the steps. You must understand your mind, what happens. Right? That kama is not necessarily bad. Please take that out. The kama is desire. It can drive you to achieve many things. Okay? Where is the problem? Kamat krodha abhijayate. That is the problem. Because you go for every kama to be satisfied, but many times it doesn't get satisfied. it, and if you can handle not having it, and if you can think about how can I, right, align my life and still get what I want, there is no problem. Right? But if I can't handle not having what I want, and if it leads to anger, there is now beginning of distortion. The second beginning of distortion is in deciding whether I go for karma or not. The karma is the desire. If I don't take into consideration ethics, samanya dharma and swadharma, then again that karma, which need not be a problem, becomes a problem. Please become nuanced in your thinking, because otherwise you will label karma, desire as something bad. Okay? There is some desire which is a very healthy way of living. There is other distortion. Where is that distortion entering? Discern that and correct it intelligently, instead of labeling the whole thing as bad. Become subtle in your thinking. Okay? So in that expression of desire, if I don't take into consideration dharma, there is a distortion. I need to correct it. And if I go along with that karma, and if things don't happen according to my desires, then if I move to the next stage of anger, there is a problem. So that's where the distortions start to enter. Okay? Anger means, what happens? Why has anger come? Because of your wrong understanding of that I can control the result. How do you handle the anger? By re-understanding. I can give you billion times, I can tell you, you should not be angry, you should not be angry, you should not be angry, and nothing will happen. But if I make you recognize what happens in your mind, what are the steps that take place when you become angry, then you know, oh my God, this is what happens. Then you can intervene. Okay. So therefore, that anger is something which comes from that when things don't happen, why should you be angry? You are angry because you have an illusion that you control everything. And then, when things don't happen your way, you are angry. Angry towards whom?
Whoever is the impediment.
Excellent. You are angry towards who you consider to be the impediment towards your getting what you want. Right? So that means you can be angry towards a particular person who you think is responsible for you not getting it. Right? But many things don't happen your way, so that means you attribute it to just one person? No. How many people you attribute it to? One time this person, next time things don't do that person, third time this person. Exactly. Then what happens is that personal anger, Tushar is absolutely on the spot. What did he say? Yeah, I'm going to explain. He's absolutely on the spot, right? That but individual anger leads to generalization. World is conspiring against you. Now, in your mind, you have made it much bigger. Right? So you build on your distortions and you make them so big. Then next time you have to interact with somebody, what is the baggage that you are carrying within you? Exactly. So that means you're not even very aware, but that is the intrinsic belief that gives you an orientation. The world is unfair. World is conspiring against me. goodness doesn't pay. Only the people who are not honest get away in life. These are all the opinions that guide the way we assess situations and the way we act in this world. So much distortion. Or the second response is, I'm small, I'm insignificant, I'm no good, inferiority complex. How many people suffer from inferiority complex? How many? Okay. Even that superiority complex is actually a flip side of inferiority complex. Why should I make myself so big? Show myself to be so big? Because actually I feel small. That's why I have a need of showing myself as something that's big. Okay, so therefore, these are all the different orientations. These are all coming from some amount of my incapacity to deal with my karmas not being satisfied. Anger is not just shouting, but all this is angry orientation. Please understand. Anger just doesn't mean that you just become angry and you slap somebody or you start shouting at somebody. I'm angry towards the world in a very quiet way. Okay. So this becomes the whole orientation. How do you break down this orientation?
By introspection.
First, by bringing to your mind certain facts which are revealed by Vedanta. What is the fact about action and result?
Result will be held.
Exactly. Bring it to mind. This is how you will make Vedanta, you will live the vision of oneness. Bring it to, it's not an advice. It's not an advice in Lord Krishna saying don't be angry. He's making you say, hey, reprogram your mind based on facts and not based on your build-up. First, understand, as Rashna says, that relationship where I have a choice and where I don't have a choice. That is clarity. I have a choice with reference to my actions, but the results come from so many factors. Surya this morning was talking about all the different orders. In those different orders, he included one very critical order, and that is the order of psychology. He says your emotions, how you feel today, are also in order. There is a cause and effect relationship. This is why you go to any person who has some understanding of how the mind works, and you tell him I'm feeling bad today, and whatever. And even before you said, oh, I feel, love. So now I'm feeling bad. So the whole thing of what happens when from the childhood you feel unloved to now how you feel, the person understands. Because if one mind feels like that, other minds, you think it's only your problem, other minds feel the same. Because of the order, cause and effect relationship. If this is what you have to go through, unless you have changed your perspective, this is how you are going to feel. Once you understand that even your psychological makeup today is in order, you relax. You have to relax in that order, the series of order, which is what we call order of Ishvara. This is a big thing that Vedanta gives, which modern psychology doesn't give. The appreciation of series of orders within which you find yourself. The order of cause and effect, when you see it from the standpoint of how the planets move, we give it a name called physics. The order which makes the plants what they are, get the energy from the sun to produce food for us, and food for us not in a simple manner, but you go to a nutritionist and they will give you the list of things that your body needs in order for it to be healthy. And the entire list is produced by this whole vegetable kingdom. Intelligent order. That is what we call the laws of biology. Then you see your body and how it behaves, how these cells connect with each other to perform all these amazing functions. It was amazing to see Shona's tight dance yesterday. She said first dance, just slowly. And then all of a sudden, you go, your cells can do all of this. Instantaneous change. Wow. Order. So that is also how your physiology, you can just tighten your muscle and do something totally different. That is order, physiological order. It follows physiological order. Right? Then, how you feel after that, psychological order. After that, you start laughing. Some people say they never laughed so much as they laughed yesterday. Psychological order. It follows psychological order. The beautiful setting, it makes you feel calm and pleasant and all that. Laws of aesthetics. You evoke beauty and you feel good. Laws of aesthetics. Nita's dance, all the sculpture, the positions, the beauty, laws of aesthetics. It creates sensations. Order. Right? So that means the series of orders within which you find yourself. Within those orders, there are two other critical orders, and that is what law of dharma and law of karma. Law of dharma means that I have to make a choice, I have to what? Take into account certain ethics. Law of dharma. Samanya dharma and swadharma. When I receive the results, I have to take into account what? The laws of karma. Understand that there is a law which gives me the result that I deserve at that given point of time. It's in order. Then the order that the Gita has in mind doesn't stop there. You look at your life and you look at how different people are endowed with different intelligences. Order. That order we name so that it doesn't remain a vague idea. Just as when I name that order which governs the position of the planets as physics, then I bring it into my awareness. The order which gives us the intelligence, different types of intelligence. Today in this room, how many different types of intelligence exist here? Somebody is extremely good in business, somebody is really good in journalism, somebody is just excellent in dance. You have all kinds of different intelligences. And in different degrees. What decides who has what intelligence in which field in what degree? There is an order. That order I recognize and I call it what? Saraswati. And I invoke. It's not, oh, that the goddess Saraswati did not give me the intelligence, so I'm doomed. No. Proactive. Ask for it. Pray. Ask for that intelligence. The order which gives us resources. Different types of resources in different degrees. What do you call it? Lakshmi. The order which gives us power to get things done, willpower, to persevere, to get things done, go for what we want. That is Durga. So, your whole existence in this world is within series of orders. How do you live your life? Are you aware of the presence of all these orders? If you were, you will not have this problem of anger, depression, feeling of a victim. You need to enrich your psyche based on being aligned to facts. Okay. Now these orders, are they just nature? No. Because in one body, you will see a coordination of all these different orders. This is what we call Maha order. In my body, how many different orders are working? Laws of physics are working. Laws of psychology are working. Laws of biology I am dependent upon because I depend upon plant kingdom for my food. Laws of karma are working. Laws of dharma are working. Different degree of intelligence, resources, power, it all exists in only one unit of the creation. That means they are not just mechanical laws, all just separately doing their job. They are coordinated. That coordination, that is what we call Ishvara, Maha order, within which all the different orders exist and coordinated. That is what we call Isha, Ishvara. Sanskrit name for that is Ishvara. You came in the universe where all this was a given, as Surya says. You came, did you create any of those orders? You came into this creation which is already following all these orders. Already they are so intricately put together, not only in you, in each of the organism of the creation. That intelligence from which all these different orders come and they get coordinated to make every object in the universe as it is what we call Ishvara. Vedanta is not just about you being consciousness. Vedanta includes that, as I told you in the very first class, inquiry into what? Not only who you are, that we did, I am Sat Chit Ananda. Inquire into the nature of the universe. What did we discover? The universe is mithya. it has a dependent reality. But it also includes the third inquiry, which is, even though the world is mithya, it has a dependent reality. How did it come about? This is where there is a third inquiry, and that is inquiry into the cause of the universe. Vedanta is not complete without the presence of Ishvara. Anybody who is interested in knowing the truth has to incorporate this order. You can't just ignore it. You can't just dismiss this world as mithya, because even though it is mithya, it is governed by all these different laws that you can't bypass. So if you are smart, what do you need to do?
Follow the orders.
Huh?
Follow the orders.
Exactly. Align. First, become aware of the series of orders that you are subjected to. And secondly, align yourself to the series of orders.
Are you talking about the nature of law of coordination?
I'm talking about this Ishvara,
Issues.
cause of the universe.
All orders put together.
We don't call it nature, because nature means it's mechanical. Right? If it was mechanical, there would not, the coordinator is like, one order will do its job, second one will do its job, but there is no coordination possible. Right? The fact that all these different orders are intricately put together to do intelligent functions, it requires not something mechanical, but something intelligent. This is how we come to Ishvara.
This is a high intelligence.
Exactly. That intelligence from which all these different orders come, and they get what? Woven together into every unit of that creation, that is Ishvara. Once you come to know the presence of Ishvara, your psyche is got equipped with a different level of understanding to deal with every problem of yours. Otherwise, every problem of yours, you go to psychology, they will keep on digging into your past and this and that, and you can't get out of it. Because there are so many causes. And so many people, like yesterday when I was talking about causes which you can trace back to your childhood, and then they said, yeah, but what about previous life causes? You don't know what those causes are. You can't figure them out. But you can understand that there is Ishvara. And the past causes of which you are not aware, it is within that intelligence. So the infrastructure that you have to deal with any problem of yours is increased how many fold? Many-fold. It's a different dimension of solving your problem. But also
living a better life.
Exactly.
Improving the quality of.
But here we are talking about kama and krodha, so in that context, right? But otherwise, as Neeta says, it gives you a different appreciation of life. There was a modern psychologist who said once that the present day people are depressed. It's a very common thing, right? You look in France, the medicine which is sold the most. We go to France and we think it's so beautiful and everything is just so amazingly chic and everything is so great. The medicine which sells the most in France is Prozac.
Antidepressant.
So that means what? everything is just created with such elegance and such beauty and such style, and people are depressed. People want to go there. Right? There is a void. There is a void, and that psychologist said, why is there a void? Because we feel that we live in this world which is all dead objects. Mountain is dead, rivers are nothing, just objects, no, nothing. Everything is dead. All the inert things according to us are what? All dead. Now, the Vedic vision, what does it make us realize? They're all positioned where they have to be positioned to perform a very intelligent function. You stop looking at the sun as just bunch of what? Hydrogen atoms. You begin to look at the sun as what? That blessing which, sitting so far away, gives me life, gives me food, makes my life possible. This morning during meditation, we did Adhyatma Vidya. It is a prayer to the sun. Hey, just like the light that you emit, which removes all darkness, you light up my buddhi and remove all the darkness. Remove all my confusions. Remove all my errors. The very same sun, which if you look without any awareness, is just hydrogen atoms. Now, the same sun, what has changed?
Your perception.
Your perception has changed. Your attitude towards the sun has changed based on what?
A new understanding.
New understanding. A very significant shift in your psyche. That's why next time you don't just take the sunrise for granted. What do you do? Gratitude. Gratitude. I live on Juhu Beach. Every morning I see lots of people walking on the beach. This is the only beach in this world. Either you can say it's the dirtiest beach because everybody litters, it's true. But there is another side to it. On this beach, there are so many people, when the sun rises, they stop and they drink. We only keep on complaining about India and this is like this and it is like this, and we miss this beauty in India. Because it's the only country where people do have these sensitivities.
And it comes naturally.
And it comes naturally. We are so one-dimensional in our appreciation of things. And that is the only origin. It's true. I'm not saying to ignore that. I'm not saying that. But make your vision total. It is the only country in the world where in whatever form, in whatever people have that sensitivity to wait, appreciate the sunrise and do that namaskar. Because there is a magic. That is not a mechanical activity. It is the result of that. It's one of the manifestations of that intelligence which pervades the entire creation. So that means you need to, as Shona says, it's only your attitude changes. But that attitude, is it a result of positive thinking? No. Exactly. It's an attitude which is born out of understanding. Understanding something which is so big and so real, which your psyche was totally oblivious. This is how Vedanta enables you to expand. I loved when Tushar said that we all live, we think we are very intelligent, we are very successful, and it's true, right? But we still live like a frog in a well. And Vedanta slowly lifts us, makes us see things differently, things totally different. No self-help psychology, no positive thinking can give you this vision. This is a vision. A vision which is as true as what it corresponds to the truth. You are not manipulating your mind, you are not manipulating the world, you are just seeing the realities.
One more point to learning science. The big sun rising inside. The science. Human rise, lot of noise, falling down.
So this is where Vedanta and the appreciation of Ishvara gives you another dimension of looking at all your emotions. First, accept the emotions as part of the order of Ishvara. Don't try to resist them. This is why when yesterday I said, welcome fear, Namita was, what? When you understand that that fear rises because of the causes that follow an order, you don't resist that emotion. But you also have a free will. So what do? You address that emotion. What are the two different ways of addressing that emotion? In Vedanta Shastra, they talk about Shama and Dama. Okay. The first thing is Dama. What is Dama? That when the emotion arises, our natural tendency is to just act based on that emotion. Emotion arises, I shout, I say something, I just slam the door, I throw things, whatever it is. What Vedanta says is, let the anger be, but you still have a choice not to act on that anger. When you use your free will not to act on that anger, this is what we call Dhamma. It has come, the emotion has come, but you don't victimize others.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Very important subject. You use your free will or your buddhi
Yes.
not to proceed. What the
So-
difference between free will and
Yeah. So free will means you can actually say that, oh my God, now instead of resisting the anger, you say it has come. Right? Then you say, okay, you can tell the other person, I'm angry now. I'm not in a right frame of mind to talk. I will get back my equilibrium and I'll talk. That is the use of your free will to not, that the automatic step of anger resulting in violent behavior, that you stopping that.
this is with the being. Let's say it's an object. Instead of being, it's an object. I want a Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
I got a thought.
yeah,
How do you make it in a thought, proceed? If
Yeah.
I don't have money to buy it.
yeah, exactly. So this is where basically, this is where what I told you, the two steps are really very important. Vedanta gives you that capacity, right? You want Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce. But behind that wanting Rolls Royce, there is nothing wrong, right? If you can afford it, you can even buy it. But if you can't afford it, and if it makes you angry, for example, towards the world, okay, then you need to actually see why are you angry and why is there such a need for that Rolls Royce? Okay?
That is analysis.
because that is the analysis phase. That you have attributed your happiness to that Rolls Royce. That is some analysis, right? Which I just told you earlier, that kamaha, the desires don't pose a problem, but you can deal with the loss if you actually have understood that you think that this object will make me happy. What is the reality? We saw that analysis that if that object had the capacity to make me happy, it should always make what? Me happy all the time, and it should make everybody else happy all the time. You go to a sadhu in Rishikesh and you tell the Rolls Royce, he doesn't even know what you're talking about. He's so indifferent to it, he doesn't even know. So that means, exactly. You understand that the object does not have anything called happiness attached to it. It is what? You are attributing your happiness to give that value. You give that value. The object is object. What is the Rolls Royce? What is the value of that object? It makes you ride, and it makes you ride comfortably. That is the value. Don't say it is valueless.
In conclusion, what my point is.
So, one thing, let me finish. Right? So that means once I have done that analysis, that okay, the object does not give me happiness, then can I say the happiness comes from me, the little me? No, the little me is feeling dissatisfied without that Rolls Royce. Okay, where is the source of happiness? Imagine you get Rolls Royce. Where is, and you will feel happy for a while. Where is the source of happiness? Neither you can attribute it to the object, nor you can attribute it to the subject. The you, the wanting you, where will you attribute it? When you fulfill a desire, the seeker, the little seeker in you resolves because it has found the sought. When the seeker in you is resolved in the sought, then the fullness that you already are is uninhibited.
Temporary.
Yeah, exactly.
Till the new
Right?
desire.
Till the new desire comes. Then again you become a seeker.
My question here is,
Yes.
we all of us are here,
Yes.
and then things will happen. Because desires are beliefs.
Yeah.
Keeps cropping up every day.
True.
So it's on a subtle level, it can
Yes.
act in the world.
Yeah.
There is this mechanism.
Yes.
How can we, there is a being
Yeah.
or an object, how can I nip it in a bud before it manifests? If it is not with this particular free will or intellect. My question is, I'm confused between the free will
Yeah.
and
See, free will is a choice that you have. And intellect is the one which enables you to make choice within the free will.
So intellect still plays a very
Important.
The
Yes.
whole thing is about it.
Yes.
Only.
Because the choice, the faculty of choice is given, but the intellect is the one which decides.
So if I have a goal to make $1 million, now I say I become a doctor, and I make $1 million. I can also have to make it into aim that I'll serve a lot of people, and after that I can make $1 million. That's itself. Make a noble goal out of it.
Exactly. Isn't
Got
it
it.
lovely? Right? This is what I am saying, that please don't curb your desires, but you can make them noble, as Vireshis say.
But cut the design is very, very important, because I feel that in today's life, the way the world is progressing, thinking is very fast. I mean, the events would happen.
But Videsh, see, instead of saying that cut the desires,
No,
actually,
no suppression in desire. So identifying the right way with the free will and intellect and act on it.
see, when I give you this knowledge that the objects do not give you happiness, I don't need to give you a message, oh, don't go after objects. They're automatic, because you've understood the real nature of the objects, what they can do and what they cannot do. It'll naturally drop. Whole of spiritual world is about cutting things, eliminating things, not having it. Actually, the whole real spirituality is just about understanding understanding, in light of that understanding, everything will automatically drop.
Or it's just born, it's a new entity to be born out of the self.
Exactly.
But still you need a temporary response. It's like go out of this hall.
Exactly.
I mean, it will take me many years to reach to this level. I mean, it's not easy.
But what is the beauty of that is, actually every a mediocre mind wants boost. Sophisticated minds, they want to understand things. The minute you understand that all these problems that you have to struggle with, they automatically drop. So you're right, the real teacher has to take into account both. Understanding is very, very critical, because without that understanding, any change of behavior is going to be temporary.
No, I appreciate that. My confusion was between free will
Yes,
and intellect.
absolutely. No, that is absolutely right. The free will is given to you. Your intellect will enable you to decide what choice to make. So here, by this teaching, what I am doing is embellishing your intellect with this knowledge and increasing its infrastructure, in light of which you will make different choices. Absolutely, 100%. Right? But it is increasing the infrastructure in not just some narrow manner, it's a huge shifts of perspectives.
Thank you with Dhamma is complete.
Yeah. So Dhamma is something where it enables you to say, I'm not going to act on this. Then imagine that you keep on saying, okay, I'm not going to act based on my anger. But if you don't process that anger, it is still going to be there. So the second step is what we call Shama. Shama means, as I was explaining yesterday, stay with those emotions. Then what are the four steps that I said? Try to understand where are your distortions. Once you understand your distortions, correct those distortions with right understanding. Once the right understanding takes place, follow it up with actions to make that understanding concrete. Right? This is what we call Shama. So that means you can intervene at all these different levels, either at the level of raga itself, kama itself. First, you can decide not to dwell on it. That is the first level of intervention. Second is, even if you have dwelt on it and it has created the desire, you can still assess the desire in light of dharma and decide not to do it. That is your second level of intervention. The third level of intervention is, okay, you've gone along with that raga and results have not come your way, you're angry, you have third level of intervention. And all this are embellished with your understanding of Ishvara, the order within which you operate. So instead of resisting things, labeling them as negative, you recognize them as part of the order. And then use your free will to correct it. Intelligent living. Right? The awareness of Ishvara makes your life so much more. You can relax. Our teacher used to say, you can relax in the order of Ishvara, in the lap of Ishvara's order. Otherwise, you are just struggling human being.
They don't wait for the results. So then leave that.
No, expecting result, as I told you, is part of intelligent living. Right? When things don't happen, you understand that the order takes into account many more factors than what you had decided. Unknown factors, which are playing. They are unknown to you, but they are not unknown to the order.
You had not completed when you took the action.
right? So this verse is not just giving you some soft, simple little techniques. It is talking about shifts of vision which enables you to respond to situations differently. Everything which is so profound and so subtle in Gita is unfortunately made into some very, you read in some books and very narrow concepts. All just techniques. Okay. So this is where you begin to you begin to relax. You have confidence in that. You have confidence in that order. You ask for help from that order. This is what we call prayer. Our teacher used to say, prayer is the highest expression of human feeling. Prayer is the highest expression of human feeling. In order to pray, what all do you need to understand? That everything,
Surrender.
yeah, but what do you need? Where does the surrender come from? What you need to understand? There is the universe is not random. The mithya universe is not random. The minute you say mithya, the world is mithya, there is this whole tendency in a human being to just want to discard it. This is a big mistake people make. Mithya universe is so intelligently put together, it fools you for lifetimes. There is, as Shona says, there is an order which makes the whole, it's a magic. How? From awareness, all these objects emerge. And how they get connected to each other through this Indra's net. Magic. It's magic means it is mind-boggling. And get connected not for 50 years, 100 years, billions of years. And you find yourself use it to help yourself and to align yourself. You will see the blessing that life will become.
Is it like something like, the life is going to pull you in different directions anyway. Your desires in the world, everything is going to pull you in different directions.
True.
You keep all these laws in your sphere of vision, and you use your free choice and the help of prayer to come back into the right direction.
Excellent. Right? This is the job that people have to do before what that final vision of Vedanta becomes clear that I am doing. Unless you do all the steps that you have just mentioned, it will not happen. You have to, this is non-negotiable. You have to do it. You have to do it. Just repeating I am awareness, which is free, it is just nonsense. It becomes real when I understand and I live it. And the infrastructure within which I live is such an enlightened, fine human being I become. Solid human being. A human being that everybody notices. Because who lives in this world like that? revolutionary change in your life. Okay? So that means, that is, the more you take help of Ishvara through prayers, then what? That delusion that takes you away will become what?
You won't go too far away.
Exactly. You won't go too far.
You will go far.
You may go. At times
You
you
won't go too far.
Exactly. Absolutely. Because you are asking for help. Every morning you are praying for your clarity. The day begins by asking for clarity. Right? That intelligence which covers the universe, proceedings and powers. Take my buddhi in the right direction. Because sometimes I don't even know that I'm deviating from the right direction. I think it is right, but actually I'm deluded. I don't even have the discretion. Ask for help. Who can help you? Ask yourself and that universe who makes your buddhi what it is. That cause of which is Ishvara, which makes your buddhi what it is. The highest intelligence, which governs the whole universe. Okay? So that is Krodha Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti. The more you take help yourself and take help, that you will avoid these disastrous steps. Smriti will remain with you. You will not lose perspective in light of the force of the events. Your buddhi will be enriched, it will become firm, and then you will not lose the capacity to still use it. Even though you are upset, you can be lucid. Buddhi nasha doesn't happen. Total buddhi nasha doesn't happen. Because that buddhi nasha leads to destruction. You help yourself all these different steps so that you can become the person who acts differently. Okay? So now that is what we saw yesterday. I wanted to reiterate because I wanted to bring Ishvara. I did not, there is no, our teacher every time reminded us that what is the difference between this so-called modern Vedanta and a traditional Vedanta. Modern Vedanta only talks about consciousness, 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 whereas the traditional Vedanta incorporates what? Ishvara. Without Ishvara, it's not complete. It's just some floating idea of consciousness which is not grounded by anything. There is no grounding. Okay? So that is what I wanted to introduce. Because otherwise my teacher would not have been happy.
Yeah.
If
It's
I had-
amazing class. Amazing. Mind-blowing.
That's what makes him stand out from the others. Otherwise, everybody else deals with themselves as just some technique. Some technique to just stop this process. Practical, true, practical. But what? All the depth and all the nuances. That's what makes you an outstanding. That's what makes you stand out as a teacher. How deep you can go in your analysis of things. There are levels and levels and levels of analysis. If you can reach the deepest and show the whole chain, that is what makes you brilliant.
how much time do you take in ashram to study this chapter?
3.5.
What we are doing in
3 years ago.
No, how come?
Generally, I think this, it would take probably about
3 years.
2-3 weeks. No, this particular set of courses.
Sorry, I have to say one thing. Swamiji,
Yes.
it would take you all the way to the few there and then just
Make you laugh.
you so simply with his laughter. Oh, this brave.
True.
It was like, oh my God, I went all the way there. It took me all through that chain and then
And
just
then
broke
make
it
me
down.
laugh.
Then
Absolutely.
you just pray and you
So unfortunately, I can't do the job of making you laugh, so I leave it to Vivek.
Or Shona. Like
So
the-
exactly had.
So we are meeting here. Okay. Now
No,
let's move to
so the Vedant comes from the Bhagavad Gita.
Sorry.
The Vedant comes from
So okay, now what is the relationship between Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita? I will just talk about it very briefly because I want to finish these verses.
Oh, sorry, we don't have to go into
Okay,
that.
so I will talk about it later. Right? I'll talk about. Right? I'll just tell you because you need to know. Just 2 minutes, not 2 months. Right? Vedanta word means literally it means what? Vedanta. Vedanta means what? What appears at the end of the Veda. What appears at the end of the Veda are what? Upanishads. So you have Upanishads. What are the Upanishads? There are many Upanishads, but we consider when we study Vedanta, we consider 10 Upanishads important, not because they are special, but because Adi Shankaracharya wrote his extensive commentaries on those Upanishads. So that's why you can study the Upanishads with very sophisticated analysis based on his commentaries. Right? So you study the Upanishads with, when you are studying Vedanta, you study those Upanishads with commentaries of Adi Shankaracharya. They are written in Sanskrit. That's why we study Sanskrit, to be able to understand the original commentaries, not just translations. Right? Then, as Namita asked, what is its relationship to Bhagavad Gita? Okay. Bhagavad Gita is not part of the Veda, please understand that. It's part of what? Mahabharata. It's a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna in the middle of Mahabharata. Right? So how is it connected to Vedanta? It is connected because what is said in the Upanishad is exactly what is said in Bhagavad Gita. The vision of oneness and how to live that vision of oneness and what to do in order to get the vision of oneness is the subject matter of Upanishads as well as Bhagavad Gita.
And which came first?
Vedas.
So
Vedas.
Vedas are much deeper.
Much older in chronology. Now, if Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, they all say the same thing, they convey the same vision, why is it that Bhagavad Gita has become such an important text in India? Why?
Because it's through a story. I mean, it's through
Yeah. First, it is through the whole story of Arjuna, who he was, how some situations in his life shook him. He started looking for answers and how this teaching was given. Okay? But that is the first thing because the story is more accessible. But this Bhagavad Gita, as you are seeing, is not a story, right? Is it a story? No.
It is within the story. It's a secret.
Exactly. At this point, Arjuna was taught the vision of who you are, right? And what is your relationship with the universe, the cause of the universe, and how to live your life in order to, understand and be alive with this vision. Right? Now, how Bhagavad Gita slightly differs in its emphasis, right? Is what makes Bhagavad Gita more accessible. So many chapters of Bhagavad Gita talk about human growth, also talk about it, but not in so much details. Bhagavad Gita gives many different frameworks for you to grow and to assess how far you are in your growth. Karma Yoga is one framework. The other framework, as I told you, is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. The third framework is Raga, Dvesha. There are series of frameworks which give you an idea as to how to grow as a human being. So that's why, because we all need it. That's why Bhagavad Gita has become so popular. Even though it says the same, it unfolds the same reality as the Upanishads, it talks a lot more extensively about the personal growth that is required to understand that vision and to live that vision. So therefore, when we study Vedanta, we study Upanishads and we study Bhagavad Gita equally. The first portion of the Veda is Karma Kanda. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, so the next framework is Ragadveshaviyuktaistu Vishyaadindriyaischaram Atmavashye Vidheyatma Prasadamarigaccati. You will chant after me. Ragadveshaviyuktaistu Vishyaadindriyaischaram Atmavashye Vidheyatma Prasadamarigaccati. So, as I told you, for your growth, there is another framework which is given, which is Raga and Dvesha. Okay? Raga and Dvesha, Raga is something that you like and Dvesha is something that you dislike. Right? So we all live in this world. I think I briefly introduced yesterday. Our whole orientation is we try to get what we like, we try to keep what we like, and we try to get rid of what we don't like, and we try to avoid what we don't like. So the whole attempt is what the whole living is based on fulfilling your Raga and Dvesha. Right? Now, some people say, now this is the difference between a person who has understood Vedanta and a person who doesn't understand Vedanta. Very easily advice can be given, forget about your Raga and Dvesha. Forget and just operate from some kind of a, this higher purpose and all these things that are talked about. So you are given the advice to give up your Raga and Dvesha. This is another disaster because you are born with certain preferences. Right? An Italian person would probably prefer pasta to dahi vada. It is not like there is nothing wrong. The Parsi may prefer dal saag, or I don't know, whatever it is. You all you can just become more cultivated or whatever, you want diverse taste and then you develop your taste bud to like all kinds of foods. So there are all these preferences which are infinite in nature and there is nothing wrong with it. Because we are not all meant to become like robots and just all with zero preference. Life would be so boring without this diversity. This is one of the things that Namita was saying. I don't want to study in a homogeneous group where everybody has the same background, the same this thing, the same attitude. She said that I find boring. Diversity means people have different preferences, they have different thought processes, world differently. Nothing wrong, that is lovely. Enjoy it. There is nothing wrong with Radha and Krishna. Engaging in the world with your likes and dislikes. This is how you get diversity in the world. One person wants to be a businessman, so you get the goods that you need. One person wants to be a cricketer, so you get the entertainment that you need. One person wants to be an advertiser, so you can see all these nice ads. One person wants to be a journalist, so you can read some, you can get exposed to some critical thinking. Everybody is expressing their Radha and Dvesha, likes and dislikes. And they are all doing diverse things which provides that diversity, and you need all those different types of people in the world to live. If everybody just wanted to be a thinker, who would do the jobs? So you need all types of people in this world, and all those people are expressing their likes and dislikes and engaging in the world according to their likes and dislikes. So please do not label Radha and Dvesha as something to be eliminated. Vedanta brings so much sanity in your living. Otherwise, we are just full of all these ideas. I have to eliminate this, and I have to get rid of my emotions, and I have to eliminate my desires, and I want to be detached from the world, and I want to not have that Sthita Prajna, I want to be same with reference to everything. This is kind of, I don't know, what kind of living is this? Right? So Radha and Dvesha are fine. Where is the problem? The problem comes when those likes and dislikes, instead of I managing them, they begin to manage me. That is the point of problem. This is what our teacher used to distinguish between Radha's and likes and dislikes, which are just a natural expression of a human being, and the same Radha Dvesha, if they begin to bind me, then it is a problem. I do not worry about other preferences. I can enjoy those preferences. What are the binding likes and dislikes? How do I know which of my like is a binding to me and which of my like is not binding to me? How do I know?
Start with sensations we talked about. Dwell on it.
Exactly. That you dwell upon something that you like. Now you say, okay, now I don't, when I go back to India, I will have dosa. Right. It's okay, nothing wrong with it. Please don't have complex. Exactly, obsession. And your thinking is so much that you're not available to listen.
Yes. But you can make that happen and walk in that.
So that's what exactly. So that means intelligent intervention is, if that thought comes, don't label that thought as negative. Just say, yes, I feel like having dosa, I'll go there and have it. It's true. But right now, I'm here, let me listen to it. Very easy way. You say, oh my God, now I have distraction, I should be thinking about it. And this is all a problem. Okay. The minute, exactly, absolutely. Just be intelligent in dealing with your likes and dislikes. Make them non-binding. You can have it, but you can check how it expresses itself.
And the means with which you go there.
Sorry?
Also the means how you get it.
Exactly. The second way you know that this is a binding like or a dislike is, right now you are sitting here and you are served lunch, and because you want that dosa, you start criticizing what is given. You are not available. Right? That you want to eat is not a problem. But because that you want to eat, because of that you are not available to listen to what is being said, becomes a problem. and that you cannot enjoy anything different for this moment is a problem. Because that object you have what? Obsessed. That only then it becomes an obsession. Please understand. A simple preference becomes an obsession. Simple preference, no problem. Obsession, problem. So if you can make every desire as a simple preference instead of an obsession, you are free. This is the trick. This is Neema's teaching. Not a simplistic teaching, give up Raga Dvesha, give up your preferences. Ridiculous. Every preference of yours is a privilege. It becomes a distortion because you have no proper relationship with it. Once you have a proper relationship with it, it becomes a privilege. Right? So this is what we talk about. The wise person has made Raga and Dvesha non-violent. Simple preferences rather than obsessions. As I told you, what is the process through which he has made them only simple and not obsession? By first recognizing that the object intrinsically cannot give me what I'm looking for. All the power that I give to that object, all gone. Why? Because I understand the value of that object objectively, not through my own superimposition. When I remove that superimposition, I don't give the power to an object to control my moods. Very simple. I don't need to physically be away from that object. I just change what? My understanding.
So you give black market value which?
Sorry?
You give extra value to the black market.
You give extra value. The thing of giving extra value in Sanskrit, it is called Shopanadhyasa. Shopanadhyasa. Adhyasa means certain, your own projection. And what is that projection? Giving it more value than it actually has. Every object has its intrinsic value. As I told you, that Rolls Royce you can't say is no value. You can't say that. Neither you can say that it has a value in the sense that if my not having it will make me unhappy. It has an objective value. What is the value? Objective value. It will make me ride comfortable. True. Status. It may give me some status. True. But it will give me the happiness, or it will fill the lack that I feel right now. My superimposition. When I remove that superimposition, I'm able to deal with that object. The presence or absence of that object doesn't create this roller coaster in me. Otherwise, what happens? Whole life is lived with emotional life is a roller coaster. When I get it, I'm on a high. When I don't get it, I'm on a low. Simple. Just see, hey, this much it can do for me, this much it cannot do. Simple. You need not reject it. Just see what it is. So as Videsh says, remove Shopanadhyasa. Then you have proper relationship with every object in the world. You can engage through your preferences, but they don't become obsession. Because you understand that they cannot give you what you are searching through them. With absence, the object's presence or absence does not create this up and down. This is when you know that your raga and dvesha, your likes and dislikes, are non-binding. Right? So now, the next verse. Here he says, before I go to the next verse, there is something in this verse which is expressed, which is a very unique expression. Okay? Before I told you that the result of the action is governed by what? Governed by what? The unknown variable, but they are what? Unknown to me, but they are what?
Actual order of the universe.
Excellent. And which order of the universe? Law of karma. Law of karma. Right? But then I extended it and I said, this law of karma is not a mechanical law. It is governed by Ishvara. An intelligence which governs not only karma, dharma, physics, biology, physiology, psychology, everything. Ishvara. Right? So now you begin to make your knowledge more and more sophisticated. Then when it becomes more sophisticated, the terminology also changes. First I say the unknown variables, then I say it comes from laws of karma. Then when I understand, as Manohari says, it comes from Ishvara in form of law of karma, then the result becomes what? Coming from Ishvara, it becomes what? Prasada. Prasada.
Meant for you, for the reason.
From Ishvara, directly from Ishvara. When you go to a temple or to any place of worship and the priest gives you something, and the priest gives you something, what do you call it? You don't call it just an object. You don't call it laddu anymore. You call it what? The object remains the same. What changes? It's what you understand. You see it now as coming from Ishvara. And when you see it as coming from Ishvara, what is your attitude?
Reverence.
It is
Gratitude,
reverence. You take it as prasada. So let's say you go to Tirupati and you get laddu and you present it to somebody and somebody says, you know, our teacher loves this story, right? Then the person is diabetic. So what is the first reaction of that person? I don't want it, right? Because the person doesn't know it's prasada. So the person sees only laddu. And then the person says, no, I'm diabetic, I don't want it. But the minute you say that, no, it has come from Tirupati, the object remains exactly the same, the calories remain the same. What changes? Is your attitude. Now, as Shona says, even if you are diabetic, you may not eat the whole laddu, you will take a little bit. Why would you take a little? Because it is coming from Ishvara. It's a grace. All the words that Namita has to say. Gratitude. That's it, because they don't understand Ishvara. Here, this is why I made you see Ishvara. This is what I just told you, that from the point of disappointment and blaming, where have I taken you? In these 3 days, I've increased your infrastructure so that you can see things differently. Everybody else will continue to be like that. That is not my problem. I'm not here worrying about the whole world. I'm here in imparting you the knowledge which will change your attitude. You have to change. Don't worry about the world. When you change, ripple effects will automatically happen. You don't carry that burden in your head.
Keep the spirit.
Keep the spirit.
Like resilience.
Absolutely. Right? So this prasada changes, the objects remain the same. Now imagine every situation that occurs to you, you graduate, as Preeti says, and outside people would take it as what? World sucks, I'm no good, this is how all of us are. From there, you have to graduate it to what? First, understand there are unknown variables. And I don't have choice over the result of actions. And the results come from laws of karma. Then I have to say this law of karma is not mechanical, it is part of that Maha intelligence which is Ishvara. I have graduated in my understanding, please understand. I have given you all this infrastructure, I have taken your buddhi from that disappointment to this appreciation. This is what we call teaching, it's not advice. This is what it is. This is how things are. I am cultivating your buddhi to see things differently. Okay? Then ultimately, it doesn't just become the law of karma, it becomes prasada. Because you understand that the law of karma is one of the expressions of Ishvara. When you understand that everything that comes in your life to you, whether it is wanted or unwanted, it comes from the infallible laws, which are not just laws of nature, they are laws which are manifestation of Ishvara. What is the buddhi that you have? Prasad. Morning meditation, Surya said, Namaha. 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 This is because of that the attitude of Namaha can only come when you understand Krishna. The grand design within which we operate. He says, when you have prasada buddhi, what happens? Here he says, prasade sarva dukkhanam anindasyopajaayate prasanna chetaso yasho buddhir vairavatishtite. When you have that prasada buddhi, when everything that comes to you is coming directly from that intelligent order, then these reactions that you have, these ups and downs that you have, the depression, all that will what? Subside. There is one thing, in order to explain this verse, I want to talk about something that my teacher used to say. It keeps coming to my mind today. Right? And he used to say one thing, he was very subtle. Many things he would first say, like, what is he saying? I don't understand what he's saying. Then you think about it and you say, oh my God. You know? He used to say one thing. He says, the growth lies in changing from this sentence to that sentence. What is that sentence? He says, between Ishvara is infallible to what is infallible is Ishvara. What is the difference between these two sentences? Ishvara is infallible and what is infallible is Ishvara. It's not the same. No. What he meant is, when I look at the world, and if things happen my way, then I say there is Ishvara. And when things don't happen my way, or things happen that I don't understand, I say what? There is no Ishvara. It's just random. This is what our normal conclusion is, world is random, world is unfair. So this is where what happens is, these are the examples that we all have. So we know of somebody who was a great devotee of Lord Balaji. Right? So he was a great devotee of Lord Balaji, but some big accident happened and his son was really badly hurt. He says, now I've prayed so much to Balaji and now this he gave, so now I don't believe in Balaji. So that means I have kind of confidence in Ishvara till things happen according to my wishes. The minute things don't happen according to my wishes, exactly. This is what we call Ishvara is infallible. From there, I have to go to what is infallible is Ishvara. Even when that event happens, which I don't want to happen, it is still, I see it within the law. It's not outside the law. That means, even when it doesn't make sense to me, it is unknown variable which I can't make sense of, still it is within the law. That means I have graduated in my understanding of Ishvara. Whether things happen my way or things don't happen my way, Ishvara is there. The laws are infallible. Nothing will shake me, no event in my life will shake my understanding of Ishvara. Because Ishvara is that intelligence which is what? Manifesting a series of laws. Those laws are something of cause and effect which start with creation and they don't have any time-bound duration.
Say our existence is laws of Krishna.
Yeah, exactly. And we live within the order of Krishna. It's not only our existence, but the whole arrangement that we are given is within Ishvara. Every transaction, every interaction of my mind, with somebody else is within the arrangement of what? That Indra's net. You try to take yourself out of that net. Try to enter into isolation. Dissatisfaction. It's not possible, but you can miss it in your understanding. All these years we've lived with no understanding of Indra's net. We were within Indra's net, but we didn't know it.
But stuck in a different way, like see a different way.
Exactly. Right? This is changing your one thing, making it alive. The more you begin to see the presence of Ishvara through every situation that you have to go through in life, the more you relax. Because there is no unfairness anywhere. There is only opportunity to grow. It doesn't make you a fatalist person who says, oh my God, look at me, my destiny is so bad. This is a problem. This is a non-understanding of this amazing philosophy. It's nothing to do with destiny. There are some past causes, but you always have your free will. You can always do things differently. You can always understand things differently. That power you are given. Don't give up that power and then complain that I'm powerless. You have power of your choice. Anytime you can understand things differently and you can do things differently. When then you don't use that power and complain, I'm helpless, and blame the world for it, or blame Ishvara for it. Is this intelligent living? You're wasting away your powers, your potentials. Right? So this is when it says, beautiful word. Okay? A spiritual person who understands the presence of Ishvara, what is the disposition of that person? Prasanna Chitta. Prasanna Chitta means what? Cheerful. All the burdens are taken away. Right? A spiritual person, a kind of a cliche of a spiritual person is portrayed as not interested in the world, aloof from the world, as rejected, no desires, no likes and dislikes. I don't know where this picture comes from. Because according to Bhagavad Gita, it is certainly not that. According to Bhagavad Gita, the portrayal of this spiritual person is because of understanding of all these realities, the person has become cheerful. Person is able to enjoy the world a lot more than anybody else who's stuck with very myopic attitudes. There is an expansion. There is wisdom. No confusion. Giving up your narrow perspectives to increasing and seeing the wonder that is the world and wonder that is you. Whole life becomes cheerful. The burdens are given up. So that is a small story that I want to tell, which is an interesting story. Our teacher used to say. So there was this man. It's a very nice symbolic story. Right? There was this man who was traveling by train and he had a basket full of vegetables. And he was carrying that basket full of vegetables. So there was a co-passenger who asked him, so why are you carrying this basket? So he started telling a whole life story. He says, you know what, I'm not educated. So the only thing that I can do is, what, to be a vegetable vendor. But you know, my little village doesn't have enough demand. And I have wife and 2 kids to feed. So now I have to go to that other village and I need to sell those vegetables to be able to support my family. So he gave this whole big long saga of his life. The co-passenger tells him, all this is fine. I understand. I understand that you have to support your family. I understand that you are not very well educated, so you don't have any other options in life as to how to get your income. All this is fine, but, what is this but? Right now, why are you carrying this basket in your head? You're in a train. Put it down, and who will carry it? The train. The train. Yes. That means there are certain facts, but we carry added burdens all through. We carry burdens of everyone else. When I'm talking about Vedanta here, everybody talks about, yeah, but in the world, when there is war going on, what happens to that person? But why are you worried about that person? Why don't you take the opportunity to learn? Because all those problems that happens there are also happening here to you. This is an escape. Trying to fix the world.
Plane the ground free ticket.
Exactly. So that means leave all that to that Indra's neck. It's already there. You don't need to worry about it. There is a cause and effect which is taking care of billions of people over billions of years. You don't need to carry the burden to save them. We are not saviors. We are teachers. If you want to learn how to live better, to understand life better, come and I'll show you how. And when you learn, how many other people will learn? You will pass it on to how many people? To hundreds of people. And this is how you change. Otherwise, if you sit and worry about everybody else, changing everybody else, you become. You can't do anything.
How will you pass it on to someone?
Through your behaviors, through your interaction.
The tree is shade.
So this is where Mahatma Gandhi was very clever. Be the change. Be the change that you want to. Because we always want to fix.
So that's what it means, lead India.
Lead India.
World has the capacity to take care of its own.
Exactly.
Anybody, the leaders
The
will
world has the capacity to take care of its own because the basis of that world is Ishvara.
It's happening for thousands of years.
It has been happening for thousands of years and it will continue to happen. You play your part because you are a participant in that Indra's net. You can't just say let it happen and I'm just sitting back and enjoying myself. No. You are a participant, many things get done through you, play your part and then leave the rest to what? Ishvara. Intelligent way. Okay? So this is what he says. You become, the more and more you give up the burdens, the more and more cheerful you become. So this is where I will end. And now in the next class I will finish all the verses. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnam